You used to, you used to.
You used to. Something, something.
You used to call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. Call me on
What's
my
up,
cell
Lost Boys? Sorry I couldn't get you guys earlier this week, but I thought I'd hit you up on Saturday, get you all excited for tomorrow. Alright, let me turn that shit off. I know you guys hate that shit. Alrighty then. Clear the vote. Boys, diction is done with the tip of the tongue and the teeth and the lips. For you, Patty. Back, folks. The Jason's Power Rankings. What is this? Week 6 now? 7. Going into week 7. So, the league's looking really fun. It's a wild year. How crazy is it that there's only one game separating 4th place to last place? Kind of crazy. 2 and 4 against all these 3s and 3s. Then you have the top echelon, which people mostly know. I do want to apologize for my power rankings. They're pretty chalk today. It's just because our league is so deep. I kind of just have to move people around, and Yahoo doesn't lie with how many points you scored. So that's what I'm going to say earlier. But I'm still going to give you all my analysis and break it down for you, make you guys have a good time watching. Like I said, we're all in the playoff hunt. We all can do it. So guys, don't get disappointed. But let's get this going. For first off, at 10th place, Mr. Llama Drama. I know, 2-game winning streak, but I have to keep you down there. You are making moves and making improvements, but overall, I have to keep you down there just because I don't like your team very much. You do have the 2-game winning streak. Luck finally coming back, looking like himself with a 28-point week. Not a bad win over me this week, which was really, really huge. And you've won 2 in a row. And like I said, you're still in the playoff hunt, but I'm going to have to keep you down here. You have a lot of plus sides coming. Big Ben could be returning this week or maybe next week, which will help out your team. But you don't have too much talent all around. Demaryius Thomas is on a bye this week, and some other players. I don't see you taking out the big guy this week, Mr. Patty. So I think your winning streak ends today. Scratch that tomorrow. So you have weak running backs, weak receivers, weak everything else, but you're still fighting. And that's what I love about this league. You're still fighting, and you still can make a move, Llama, so keep on trying. All right. After that, we go to 9. That's T.Y. Yeats for president. T.Y. Yeats dropped down 4 this week. One of the biggest drops of the week. I had to move him down. He's lost 2 in a row. The team just isn't putting up points. And I think it all starts with Peyton Manning. He just isn't a starting quarterback anymore. He's putting up 6 points, 8 points. Oh, you're happy with 12 to 15. And for your first-round pick, you can't be happy with 12 to 15 on Peyton Manning. So, Cass, I think you need to do something with him. Maybe trade bait. I don't think if anyone will take him, but you can't have him starting as your QB this week. Well, you do have him on a bye, so obviously you can't start. But I think future on, you just can't have him as a starting quarterback. There's a lot of other guys that don't have the big name as Peyton, but they put up more points. You did have some good stuff. Mark Ingram has been a huge pick for you, and he's just been a workhorse, and he's been producing every week in and out. And also, Miller had his first good week this week. That could be a sign of what you really thought that was going to happen when you drafted that guy, and it could propel you up. Like I said, I don't like the Peyton Manning. Jeremy Maclin is a little bit banged up. And your Russell Wilson, he's been out there and he's been getting you around that 13 to 18 range. But for the 11th pick in the draft, you just can't have him in that 15 range. You needed him closer to the 20s, and he's just not doing that for you. So your first 2 picks of your draft, Peyton and Russell, in my opinion, are just underperforming both together big time. And that's why I think you're sitting down here at the bottom, because you put a lot of stock into them, and they really just did not pull through for you so far this season. But then again, we have a lot of season to go. So let's keep on moving, ladies and gents. To number 8, we have Learning Computers, Mr. LC. Also, taking the biggest hit this week, I had him at 3 2 weeks ago. I moved him all the way down to 8, and I had to. Most of you all know Jamal Charles is gone. He's gone the whole season. I don't know if he'll ever be a full starting running back with his other knee going out. But that's why I really just hit you with a huge drop in your thing, because I think Jamal was the best fantasy player so far besides Freeman. And I think he was going to be the best fantasy player consistently throughout the year, but he just got hurt as the Chiefs are getting banged up. That's going to kill your team. You can't lose your best player like that just out of the nowhere. But you do have some good stuff. Carson Palmer, Cam Newton, they're both putting up consistent numbers, and I think you might be able to ride them. And also, John Brown for Arizona, he's been playing awesome as well. He's been getting you consistently points. So you do have some bright sides. But without Jamal Charles, not really a replacement for him, because Niles Davis and that West guy seem like they're carrying the load. It's going to be tough to find those points, or even a fraction of those points. And then you just have overall weak flex positions. But, if you can find someone to get you, around the 10 to 12 points a week on the running back for your Jamal Charles pick, then you really could climb back up here. Because I think you have the 2 starting quarterbacks that can carry you the rest of the year and keep you competing for a playoff spot all season. Let's move on to number 7. The bank. Boom, boom, boom. My preseason number 1. Really thought he was going to go far this year. So far, kind of been disappointed. He has the biggest losing streak of 4, which is killer. He won those first 2 games out of the season and he hasn't won since. He does have the Rodgers and Brady. After this week, they'll both be off their byes. He'll be able to rock them out the rest of the year, which is great. And you also had a big game by Calvin Johnson, his first big game, and that's really good. And then to mention, you also had Murray come back for Seattle. I'm butchering this one up. DeMarco Murray is looking healthy and finally playing like he was last year. And Calvin Johnson is playing healthy. So I think those people that you had on paper that have always looked good, in my opinion, but have not produced, are starting to look good. And Tim, you can break this losing streak, and I think you're going to climb back up. It's just going to take a little bit of time. I looked at your team. I kind of wrote down inconsistent running backs, and I think if Edelton comes back, Chris Johnson, I think he's going to lower down. DeMarco Murray has had 2 good games, but is he going to keep it up? Just inconsistently in your running backs is going to hurt you overall, but I think you're still going to also compete. And I think your team still looks great on paper no matter what. So let's keep it moving on. The number 6. Hit on the nip. Myself. I have knocked myself out of playoff contention. Not very cool. I'm on a 2-game losing streak myself. I haven't been performing that well. My team overall just doesn't score that much. I'm the second least scoring team in the league, and that's really showing now with these 2-game losing streaks. Edelman has been doing really good. My 2, Eli Manning and Carr, have been doing pretty good. And Jay Stu finally had his first big game. But the real hampering of my team is going to have to fall on Antonio Brown. Ever since Big Ben has went out, he's had 2 4-point games and a 2-point game. So for my second pick in the first round, cannot be just doing that. It's really bad. I need Big Ben to come back to save my season. Adrian Peterson has been really good. Had a slight week, pretty crappy week last week. But just overall, I've been very inconsistent and just on the lower ending score every week. I have not had that big breakout game. There are some also positive with Julius Thomas coming back. He was first healthy game back last week. He got me almost 14, which is great, especially in a weak tight end league. And then, overall my team has potential, has good receivers, decent running backs, and decent quarterbacks, but no studs. And that's why I'm floating right here in the middle. And I think I'll be floating around here most of the year. Just have to make that play to get that 4th spot. At 5, we're going to move up Cliteria. I moved him up 4 spots, all the way from 9, 8, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Moved him up 4 spots from my last power rankings. Justin, you've been doing really good. You had a good win last week. Stafford, first good game of the season. Ivory, stud, man. He's just been putting up the numbers. Steal of the draft, still in my opinion, biggest steal besides Freeman. But Freeman, we don't know what the hell is that guy doing. But Ivory just been hella good. great pickup by LeGarrette Blount. He's been doing consistently. And Colin Kaepernick, I gave him a plus and a minus. He's been giving you these 22, 24-point weeks, but then he gets you these 2 and 4-point weeks. And that's the thing you roll with Kaepernick and his running ability. You roll the dice on him every week, which, in my opinion, I don't like rolling the dice players, but it's been working out for you, and I think you can keep it going. The Gronk and Graham picks have not really performed. Gronkowski started off really high this year with getting touchdowns after touchdowns, but if you looked at his weeks, his numbers have declined. And Jimmy Graham just really hasn't done it all year besides the one game, and I think he only got 14 points on his best game. Randall seems to be cooling off after his crazy time, and your receiving core is just pretty weak, Justin. But I am going to give you here because I'm going to give you props. You're still putting up numbers, and you're still competing, and you're 3-3 just like the rest of us bunch. So keep on fighting, Justin. You got it, my friend. The playoff people. These people I consider to be my playoff teams, and that's going to start with GG Well Played. I've always been hating on his quarterbacks, really hampering his team from going on to the playoff round. Well, guess what? Flacco's been playing great, and Hoyer might just be the savior of his team this year. The past 3 weeks, 17 points, 19 points, 24 points, only getting better. From Brian Hoyer on the Houston Texans? Come on now. But huge pickup by Josh. I think it's really going to re-energize his team to get to the next level. You also have your running back core starting to really get their legs under them, starting to feel healthy. Foster back, looking good. Hopefully LaShawn McCoy can play more than 1 week at a time, but if he comes back, he's supposed to come back this week and be healthy. That's another plus. And then Justin Forsett also seems like he's getting his legs under him and giving you points. And, your team is really starting to rev up, which is good because you haven't hit your peak yet and you're still in the playoff contention in my book. So that's looking really good for you, Josh. I would say the biggest inconsistently is your receiving core, which you kind of know. It's also a roll the dice core. They can get you 75, 80 points, or they can get you 22 for 3 players. And I think that's what it's been. Julio Jones has really been hurting you kind of the past few weeks, not really producing well. But like I said, your other players and your other tiers of your team have been stepping up, and that's why you've been doing pretty decent. We're going to go on to the big boys. I call these next 3 the big boys. Mr. Gotham, Rogue, Cal Rizion, congratulations on your new house. Saw the picture today. Looking nice and fancy. Maybe we'll have to come down there and see it. But anyways, go back to fantasy. Andy Dalton, monster season. People are talking MVP season. That's really just been a huge thing. Lynch seems like he's back, healthy, and getting you points. And then Tannehill, your other QB. Very consistent. Not what you thought of him, but still getting you 15 to 19 points a week, which is a great thing for your second best quarterback. I gave it a plus-minus kind of thing was A.J. Green. He had that huge week 3 weeks ago. But other than that, you look at his stats, 6 points, 4 points, 6 points, 8 points. Nothing too crazy. And I really think you're going to need that A.J. Green or Andy Dalton to A.J. Green combo to try to stay up in this top echelon and keep fighting. But overall, Cal, I love your team. I think you've done a great job. And not to mention, Mr. Dez Bryant should be rolling around, if not this week or the next 2 to 3 weeks maximum, which will only help out your receiving core, which is already a great receiving core with James Jones, A.J. Green, hopefully Dez Bryant. I think you have someone else. Anyways, I don't like your team this week just because you have so many buys, but I don't think that's going to affect the long-term haul of your season, and that's why I'm going to keep you up top 3, Cal. Congratulations, boy. All right, you guys probably know the next 2. They've been the next 2 all season, and I'm going to keep them the next 2. And we're going to start with Denny, the 2 shoes, Smith. The guy, I've called it early. He's a consistent team. He's overall just got great team all around. Even his weakest position of the receiving core is still pretty decent for our league. Just because overall all of our receiving cores are quite weak. I think you have the best running back crew with Le'Veon Bell, Doug Martin, which has been exploding out of nowhere, looking like 4 years ago. And then Matt Forte, also a huge huge piece of your team. So with the great running backs, the solid QBs, and the so good receiving core, like I said, I think you're going to be fighting up here all season long. I don't see you getting out of the playoffs, and I can see this team consistently trying to fight for a Super Bowl contention. We're going to go to, guess who? This guy, Apex Predator. Mr. Number 1. Been there for about, I think, 3 power rankings in a row, and I got to just say, Pat, you're a mad scientist this year. First, the Freeman guy. No one saw that coming, but you did. Boom. +1. Then, Blake Bortles and the Jaguars. No one even saw that more than the Freeman. And you found that one. Number 2. Blake Bortles has had 16 points or higher every week besides week 1. The Jacksonville Jaguars are becoming a huge fantasy team. T.Y. Yeats, you guys know what I'm saying, Allen Hurns, Julius Thomas, and now Blake Bortles. God damn, what the hell, Jacksonville? They're still losing, but they're still a good fantasy team, and you're really riding on them. You have a great, solid receiving core. I already mentioned the great Freeman. We don't have to say much about him. And you have a solid, decent flex. I would say your biggest downfall, and it's not even a big downfall, is Eddie Lacy. The biggest bust in the draft is not even affecting your team. That does have to do with Freeman and some of your other moves, but I'm not going to hate on it anymore. Freeman is dirty. You found him. You got him. Rock it out. I think you're going to be sitting at this spot for a long, long time this year, and I don't see much people fighting for you. There's my power rankings. Hopefully you enjoyed them. I kind of tried to speed them up a little bit, but not really. But let's hit up the good old matchups for this week. First, we're going to go tit on the nip. First, T.Y. Yeats for president. I'm going to have to go T.Y. Yeats to lose. Yeah, I'm going to have to give myself the win. I feel like my team's overall better than his, and hopefully I can pull it out. After that, we go to the bank. First, Learning Computer. I got to go with Learning Computer. Yeah, the bank is ranked higher, but the bank doesn't have Aaron Rodgers this week. So Learning Computer is going to take over the bank this week, and Tim, you might just hit your 5th loss in a row. After that, we go almost got the game of the week. GG Well Played versus Cliteria, 4 versus 5, fighting for playoffs. And I had to go with GG Well Played. As you see, I put him up higher, so I think his overall team is better than Cliteria, and I think he's going to take home the victory. And then we go to Apex, down here, versus Llama Drama. And I'm going to have to go with Apex for winning this one in the landslide. Even if luck comes out and shows up his stuff, I don't think he can compete with Apex. Now we end it off with the game of the week. Game of the week, Denny Two Shoes versus Gotham Rose. Oh my gosh, what a game. 2 versus 3, got to go with Denny. And I got to go with Denny because he's got the better team. And you have A.J. Green, Andy Dalton, James Jones all on bye, Cal. So I think that's really going to hurt you. I didn't think you were going to win against most teams this week. But to go up against my number 2 team, I for sure don't think you're going to win. So that's my reviews. Those are my matchups. Hopefully you guys enjoy them. Enjoy Sunday. We'll see quite a few of you guys at Halloween. Havoc, season 10. Love y'all. Go Royals.